What's up, YouTube? Today we're on top of the camper. I like making videos that help me learn and do the things that I'm doing. I don't really have a regiment for this channel. So today we are going to replace the rooftop air conditioner on my camper. It's a Dometic Brisk 2. This is what came with the unit, or with the camper when we bought it originally. This is a 13,500 BTU unit. We've noticed it just doesn't quite get the job done when we're in really hot Midwest, summers. So we bought up to the 15,000 BTU Dometic Brisk 2. So all the guts on the inside and the controls and all that stuff stays the same. The only thing that changes is the upper unit here. So inside I have taken out the 4 bolts that bolt this to the roof, and also I've taken out all of the the baffling and stuff inside that you have to remove. And I'll get you inside here soon enough, because I did a lot of insulating inside that cavity, which I do want to show because I found it to be useful. A different guy on YouTube posted a really great video of using a lot of foil tape and Reflectix, which is that foil covered bubble wrap, for lack of a better description, and you can get it at Home Depot pretty cheap. And so I followed his instructions, and I was really hoping that would help us out. We get a lot of humidity. We're in Missouri, and summers are pretty brutal sometimes when you get high temp and high humidity. So I'm gonna get this guy unboxed. I got to get this guy removed. One thing I want to show while I'm up here, I've already taken the 4 screws out. Hang on, it's gonna get a little windy. There we go. Okay. So on the unit itself here, earlier this summer, I added a hard start capacitor. And this was pretty crucial because I wanted to run this thing on generator. The generator had plenty of wattage to cover a 30 amp circuit. However, the problem was it just couldn't get over the hump of the compressor start and kept tripping the generator on overload. I looked into it. Certainly a very common problem, I found out, and therefore everybody recommended doing this. So I did it, and it made it survive on the generator. So on the brand new one, I'm gonna also include a new hard start capacitor. This unit's gonna be up for sale on Facebook Marketplace. So there's nothing wrong with it. It just, I need a bigger one. And my rig's only got 1 AC on it completely. So if anybody lives in the St. Louis area seeing this video and you need or in the market for another Brisk 2, reach out to me. But these are, because I'm going the same model, same everything just plugs right in. There's a 6-pin Molex plug on the inside that I'll show you, and it's plug and play on the control side. And the box I bought is just the upper unit only. There's nothing else included with it, so that's all I'm selling too, is just the upper unit of this model. All right, well, I'm gonna pause the video and then I'll try to pry this thing off the roof, and we'll see what it looks like underneath. And I know I got to clean the roof up real well, prep it for the new one so that the seal seats properly. So I'll rejoin you here in a little bit. We'll see what it looks like. Welcome back, the old YouTubes. So I got this thing loose. See, it wasn't pulling up real easy, even with the 4 bolts removed. So I thought I might have had something different going on, but it came up. So I'm going to gently pull this guy up to expose the bottom side. Oh, that is heavy. There you go. That's what you get to see on the inside. I'm going to clean this patch of seal of roof line up too, and get this all ready to go. This is that reflective stuff I was talking about. I put that all the way around, and I taped it to the seal on this thing, so I had to pull that off to be real gentle with it. So I'll go back inside and I drop the new one where it belongs and get that tape back down to it the way it was. No leaks, no air leaks. That's the important part. Okay, back in a bit. Welcome back. So I gave that a good scrubbing, and it got considerably lighter than it was. I'm using this totally awesome orange cleaner spray with just some rags. That's it. It may look a lot darker in the video than it really does in real life, but it's clean, it's smooth. That's the important part. So, get to unbox the new guy. That's pretty. I gotta take this out of here in such a way that I can reuse the box to lower down the old one, so I can keep it safe and not damaged, so I can resell it. So let me rejoin you again whenever I get this guy unboxed, and maybe get him sitting over here on the side, roughly where it needs to go. Alright, I just got this thing out of the box. It's on its side. I don't want to keep it on its side too long so I don't mess with the Freon inside of it, but brand new, this is what you're getting. Fresh rubber seal. There was some styrofoam in the box underneath this unit, keeping the pressure or the weight of it off of the rubber. So when you put it down, you want to be careful, and there's some stray foam, but that's no big deal. This is that 6-pin Molex I was telling you about. That plugs into the original controller that was on this unit. So once I set this in place, I'm going to go ahead and crack open the top and start working on getting that hard start capacitor put on real fast, and I'll show you how that works. It's really simple, and yeah, we'll go from there. Alright guys, we're inside now. So this is the underbelly. I don't think it's exactly where I need it. I wanted to come down here. You can still see out a little bit. I wanted to come down here and line this up by hand by pushing up on the unit and kind of scooching it over as needed, so I can try to get those bolt, you know, they just go right here in the edges. I mean, they cut these holes so precise. But so the reflectix, since we're in here, we'll talk about it real fast. That's what I did, is I cut little strips of that reflectix and I coated the curb of the air conditioner hole there, and got inside the ductwork real well with the foil tape, no leaks. This baffle, everybody talks about the baffle between the, let me get back a little bit, the baffle between the hot and cold side of this thing, that's very important to coat with reflectix as well. I did both sides of that because all they usually have from the factory is a piece of sheet metal and a little piece of foam that's loose, not set. So something to think about, guys, when you're putting this thing back together, is to add some of that. You can get a roll of it, and I just cut it in strips, a roll of foil tape. So I'll redo all that too once I get this bad boy installed fully. So let me keep working on it and I'll come back at you. Alright, so another trick I heard on installing these ACs is take your long bolts and just screw them in a little bit, just loose, and that really helps get you figure out your alignment on the lower end, you know, as far as figuring out where to, you know, do you need to go a little to the left or the right or whatever, and just get them kind of in the corners where they belong. So thought I'd throw that out real fast too. Alright, back in a bit. Okay, so what I did is I put the plate back up and I loosely hand tightened these 4 bolts. Plenty of place still here, and I left my drill on the roof actually. So that's fine. I mean, I'm gonna leave these the way they are right now. Still can see some light out of the front, definitely not the back. I want to double check that on the back side that I'm not possibly missing a piece of the black foam, which is a spacer required to hold the weight of the back of the unit. Sorry. So I want to go up there again real quick and take a look and make sure it's even, because the back of the, imagine the back compressor section is here. Okay, so all that weight is coming down, and if you think about it, you know, it's wanting to ride the AC up. And of course, you tighten these bolts down on the front, and it's going to pull it down. But if you don't have your proper foam back here, and it's missing, then when you do that, it's still going to want to pull it down over time, and the bumps and everything going over. Anyway, that seal on the front could open up just a little bit, and that really could cause some rain to come in if you're driving down the road. So you want to make good and sure that you've got everything on the back side as well as the seal on the inside here of the opening, because of that weight distribution, you know what I mean? So let's run up, let's double check that, and we'll see where we're at. Alright guys, so we're on the back of the unit now, and we are in good shape. You know, I realize all this foam is still fresh, so there's a foot there, and then there's one way back there. So we're good, we're supported, everything's cool. I just wanted to double check that. I'm going to take the shroud off here and set up for that hard start capacitor install, and I'll get you going with that in just a minute. Okay guys, we are up here on the new unit, and we need to get into this. We're doing the hard start capacitor now. We need to do, whoops, that's my screwdriver. Okay, so we are getting into the electrical box. Nothing's plugged in inside, by the way, so I'm doing this very safely right now. Couple screws on top of this box here. I like taking a towel up here with you, maybe a blanket, moving blanket or something. It just keeps some of the undue wear and tear off the roof if you're setting things around. So when you pull that box off, you're going to be looking at the original capacitor that came with the unit. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be landing on the common and the hermetic terminals, which for this particular unit in this orientation is going to be this terminal here, which is the common, and this here says Herm for hermetic, and the other one is fan. We don't want to mess with the fan one, just the hermetic. Now the flavor of capacitor I have today is the Super Boost from Supco SPP6. These are super easy to install, very forgivable. There's 2 wires on it. That's it, 2 wires. And they're not polarity sensitive, so it doesn't matter which one you land on which terminal here on this cap, that's where it's going to be. Now, what I've done and what I will do, and I'll rejoin you after this, is I basically mount mine there, and on this box I will drill 2 holes on the side for a zip tie to go around this, and I'll drill a hole right up top here, and that's where my wiring is going to go through. And I've got some of this plastic, you know, protection tube stuff, and that's going to go for my wiring to go through my sheet metal there. Really kind of keeps it nice and safe. All right, let me get that wrapped up and I'll be back. Okay, so I used one of those step bits and you know, one of these cone looking things. Got my holes where I want them on the sides. I did pull that sticker off and moved it over so I didn't screw it up. Again, working on tiles, you're going to get metal shards up here. They're going to be hot, so it's good to work on a tile so it doesn't try to burn through your rubber roof. I know they're not hot very long, but it's just good practice. So let me get things set up here and I'll be back. Sorry about the wind. I got the fan going in the background here. Let's see if I can put this up a little higher for air. Okay, so that's it. That's how we did it. And I'll tighten that up real well when I get this box installed. And so like I said, I'm going to land those two gold terminals off of the hard start to the white line and the red line, which is your common and hermetic. And that's it. Once those are plugged in, I can slap the cover back on, put the two screws down, cinch up that zip tie, cut off the extra, and it's done. All right. We've got them landed on there just like that. Like I said, we're just gonna kind of wiggle jiggle this thing back into place, just like that. Cool. And I'll put the screws in the top, cinch that up, cut the extra off, and we're done. I can go back downstairs and I'm gonna start cranking down on those bolts to hold this thing down, and make sure we obviously don't see daylight anymore until, and that's how hard we're putting them down. So just be cautious, go slow, and we'll see you inside. Alright, welcome back. We are inside. We are working on tightening this thing down. I've gone with my impact driver just down till it clicks once. That's it. And a couple more clicks on these. I'm just kind of doing it a little bit and then waiting, because that foam is compressing and I want to make sure that it has plenty of time to compress and get where it wants to be. And then when the time comes, I'm gonna kind of push all this foil tape kind of back up on it. I'll have to tidy some of this up again, but that won't be that big of a deal. Alright, oh, so when you take out your old one, there's this temperature probe. It's a freeze probe, and it goes up inside, and it'll actually stick into the coil a little bit. Whoa, way up there. That is right in the way. There we go. Oh, still right in the way. How about that? There we go. So anyway, you would just, the way this is designed is it just jams in the coil. It's really not very romantic at all. We can try to go ahead and set that up now. I'm gonna go about there. Oh, where's my camera? There it is. So I went about halfway up the coil. Kind of tough to see. Yeah, about halfway up the coil. There was already a little bit of a gap there. Not purpose for this, but it was just there, so I just popped it in very delicately. And that's it. And then as far as the Molex, this guy just goes in my control box right here. And that's it. Now, I want to mention something. Take a step back. So this gray controller box used to go straight across here. And I always looked at that and thought that that was a dramatic impedance on the airflow. So I pulled out enough slack in all my wiring, and I was able to get this box to screw down over here so it totally doesn't block the airflow at all. I mean, this little tab does, but that's nothing. I just noticed that because every time I'd go to clean the filter on this thing, there would always be this like square that was not really that dirty. And that was because that box was in the way. So all that extra air, or I mean all the air had to go around it, you know, on both sides of it, and it just didn't seem very good to me. So that's what I changed on that. Let's go ahead and give the screws a couple more torques. Ooh, a mosquito in here. He has got to die. All right. Well, I'm gonna use you guys and take the camera. See if we can see any light. No, I don't see any light coming through. At all. It's pretty dark up here. I don't see any light at all. This might be one of those things where I come back out again, you know, later today. I'll just leave the I'll leave the top cap off, or you know, the beauty cap, or whatever you want to call it, the cover, the vent cover. I'll leave that off, and then later tonight I'll come in here and hit that with the impact again, just to give a little bit more snug on them screws. Give that foam some more time to compress. I don't know the specific instructions on how to do this. I didn't read it, but that's just knowing how things work, sort of, from past. That's what I think would be best. Another thing I added to this was this foam. This foam wasn't on here either for the dump vent. In fact, the guy I watched do this, he put a piece of that Reflectix right over this thing. And yeah, this is the only foam they give you. So he put a piece over this, and he basically deleted his dump valve. I did that too, and then we had the issue where we couldn't get the coach to cool down. It was about 90-95 degrees outside. We had just arrived to our destination. It was about noon, 1 o'clock-ish. We were in full sun and fired up the AC, and it just didn't get underneath 80 degrees in here. Actually, our room thermostat, not the Dometic one, but this one here is just one we got on Amazon. It was reading 102 degrees inside the coach when we got here. So when we kicked it on, we fired it up, it didn't get underneath 80 until 4 or 5 hours later. So that was pretty dramatic, and it really didn't even get comfortably cool in here until dusk, when the sun was finally off of this unit. Now I realize that's a pretty extreme case. In fact, that particular trip, I even pre-cooled this thing. I had this plugged into the house with the AC on and running before we left. But traveling down there, which was about an hour away, it didn't. I guess, you know, we lost the cooling. And I understand these campers are certainly, you know, they're not well insulated, and they breathe really easily, if you know what I mean, as far as inside and outside air can. You know, the gaps in the seams and the seals and everything around the edges, you know, you're going to get air in and out of this thing relatively easily. But anyway, this unit, my camper, it's a 28-foot Forest River, and this is the only AC they've got on it, so I'm only a 30 amp hookup. You know, we've got the central venting. So we've got a line of vents that run, you know, down here, out in the big room, and then we've got a series of vents. We've only got 2 that run on the other side. One's in the bathroom here, and then the other one's in the bedroom there. So the bathroom I don't know. I took a Post-it note and I stuck it up there so I could restrict some of the airflow into the bathroom, since we didn't really need that much air in here and I wanted more to go towards the bedroom. Because when you shut the door, depending on what it is, it could get kind of warm in there. All right, well, I guess that's really going to do it for this installation. Well, it's on. Here, let's... Wait a minute. Click on the old breaker. Let's kick this on to high, cold, 70. Oh boy. It's got some good airflow. Oh, baby. Okay, compressor just kicked on. I got an idea. Let's take that out. Let's put it here. Yeah, we're totally not going to see that. See if it gets kind of cool. Still, I don't think it's quite cool yet. I'm going to reach up here and touch the coil. No, not quite yet either. I think it's starting to get cold finally. I don't know. Either that or my hand's just getting used to it. Well, yeah, 77. Keep an eye on it and see what it does. Dometic's 2-year warranty. That's nice. I keep that. Well, another thing, fellas, is if you're doing this kind of conversion, you need to get back on Dometic's website and register this new air conditioner for the warranty. The one on this camper, I registered for it when we first bought it, and that was, 2 or 3 years ago. 76, it is coming down. Not as fast as I thought it would, though. Like I said, it's still new. We'll see what it does. Hope I didn't get a dud. Hope I didn't get one with no Freon in it. It's a lot of work to do just to figure out it's not good anymore. Alright, I'm going to cut off the video here. I'll come back in a little while when there's a significant drop in that temp. I'm not really excited about how slow this is going. But maybe that's the nature of the beast. I don't know. If you know, give me a comment or drop me a line or something. Let me know what you think. Alright, I'll come back in about 5 minutes or so. Let's see. Time check is 9:40 a.m. So I will come back at 9:45. Okay, guys, it's been 5 minutes. It's 9:45, and we are down to 68.5 on the discharge. Put my hand up on that coil. It just didn't feel like it was that cold. I don't know if I should be concerned yet. The ambient today, reaching up here again. The ambient today was, well, you saw it when we started, about 79 degrees inside the camper when I took that thing off the wall and put it in here. So we've got a 10 degree, 11 degree drop. I don't know. I'll give it another 5 minutes. See you back at 9:50. Welcome back, YouTube. I went ahead and waited 15 minutes because I wanted to see what this thing was really going to get down to. We are now at 66.6 degrees, and assuming that I'm still close to 79 or so. I've got two windows open. I got the door wide open too, so it's not a super hot day, and it's not really that humid yet today either. It's going to get there, but I mean, I'm just standing here. It feels pretty comfortable. But I've been reading up on this in the last 15 minutes, and so I've been told, or I've been reading that the delta temperature difference should be 20 degrees on these units. 10 to 20, minimum of 10. 20 is pretty consistent with most people. I guess I'm at 15 if I'm at 66, or I'm close to 15. I'm using round numbers, guys. And it certainly feels cool, you know. You can't say that it doesn't. And, oil feels cooler than it did before. Something I want to try is I want to take my fan down to low, and I think that might help change some things. Alright, compressor stayed running. Alright, now my fan went to low. I think that's going to improve my temperature output. We'll find out. I don't even know if I'm really measuring my temperature the best way. Probably not, but it's somewhere to start at least. Alright, I'm going to give it another 5 and come back. I might even come back sooner, but I'll be on the roof because I want to put my hand over the coils outside and see if they're hot. So I think I'm going to run up on the roof. I'll join you then. Alright guys, I just noticed something. Kind of an oopsie thing. So I've got this carpet fan that I've had up here just keeping me cool while I was working up here. I've inadvertently pointed it right at the back coils of this AC. Don't know if that's hindering anything, so I'm going to shut this off. Because that very well could be causing me a problem. I'm getting a good condensation trail, so that's good. Oh, definitely hot air coming out of here. So I think that was my big issue, was that damn blue fan. Okay, we'll run back inside and check back in another 5 minutes or so, like I said. Alright. Okay guys, so I rustled up a couple different temperature probes. Some old, present I think I got for Christmas or birthday or something from the wife. So the big number is humidity on these, and the little number is the temp. So I'm sucking in 74.3 and I'm discharging 56.6. Even the other thing I left up there, that's saying 59, which is still better than what it was. So roughly 18 degrees of a temperature difference, which is a lot more normal. I think pulling that fan away from the unit up on the roof is definitely what was causing me a problem there. My output humidity is higher than my input humidity by a lot, so I'm kind of surprised. I guess it's not really taking out that much humidity in the air just yet. Still running the fan on low. Since solving that problem though, I think I'm going to bump it back up to high, because I'm curious to see if that changes. I know it's going to change our numbers. I don't know what it's going to change them to. Compressor's still running, that's good. Oh baby, there we go. I just took some packing tape and put those things right there across the air. I don't know if that shouldn't affect the temperature sensors, because those have lots of holes in the back sides of them and stuff. So I'll let this run for a little while and come back. Alright guys, so I bumped the fan on this back up to high, and I noticed that the temperature creeped back up. Saw 59 there, 73 there, which is only a 15-degree difference. So I'm going to go bump this back down to low, and I want to see if my results stay consistent. Again, I took that blue fan, the carpet fan, off of this coil upstairs, so it's definitely running the way it should. Okay, I'm going to let this run for 5 and then I'll come back. Alright guys, this will be the last installment of this video series for replacing the air conditioner. I have closed the windows. They've been closed for a little while. I took a little lunch break. Still kept the front door open though, so our return temp 73, almost 74 degrees. Supply is 55. So we're still maintaining close to that 17 to 18 degree offset. That other guy's still reading a little higher. I'm going to wrap it up for today. I'm going to close this thing up and shut this off, because tomorrow it's supposed to be in the 90s. So I basically am going to open every window in this camper, and I am just going to let this thing become an oven. I want as much heat in this thing as I can, because tomorrow I'm going to go ahead and run a full load test. I'm going to get this thing cooking. I want to see how hot this thing gets internally, and we'll see what we can do. I'm just going to let it dump the air out in the main room like normal. In fact, well, I'll just leave the bathroom or the bedroom open. It's fine. But yeah, I'm just going to keep letting this thing dump straight down. I'm not putting the bezel back on, because like I said, later today I want to go ahead and hit those screws again with the impact and see if I can get it to sandwich a little bit better. There's a little bit more foil taping I need to do on the separation between hot and cold, because the foam on this unit is newer, it's thicker, and I do have just a teeny tiny gap right there that I need to fix with some foil tape so that it's sealed 100% between the two sides, and that's no big deal. That's going to make more of a difference when I have the cover on and I actually try to utilize my vent, because this chamber becomes pressurized, and if it becomes pressurized and I have leaks, then it's just going to blow pressurized air onto this side, and it's going to just keep recycling cold air. So anyway, that's the plan, and I think my unit's fine. I think it's running fine. I'm getting the minimum of 15 degrees differential on high, and I've been able to get about as high as 18 degrees differential on low. So that's it. Have a good day, everybody.